Historic. No, not the Paxton impeachment. We are moving to another major development, a strike declaration by the United Auto Workers Union. Under the category, go big or don't go at all, the UAW membership is walking out simultaneously on all three major American car makers. And that's where the historic moniker comes in, because it simply never happened before. Which also means we have no idea what kind of impact the strike could have on an economy some believe is sliding into recession. Critics are blaming President Biden's near constant union boosting for fanning the flames of labor unrest. Panel, first, they deprive us of snappy, fresh riding on the tube, and now the ample supply of F-150s is in peril. What's up with all this union muscle flexing, Charles?
Yeah, you know, it's I think the unions, public sector and private sector, have had a stranglehold on us for a long time. And I say this as someone whose aunt is a UAW union organizer in Detroit, whose nephew is president of Amazon Labor Union. And I think that when we look at public sector and private sector and the way they're holding hostage taxpayers and stakeholders, we got to start to push back a little bit. They're saying that if UAW stays out for 5 days, it's going to cost the economy $10 billion. It's going to cost, $5 billion. It's going to cost the state of Michigan, I think, $10.9 million in just tax revenue. And so this is a big issue that needs to be resolved, but I think we also need to start talking about how much influence unions have over our decisions.
As the legal representative of 4 different unions, Chris Tritico, are you advising the automakers to just give in?
Well, they haven't called me. I represent 4 public sector teachers unions, so it's a little bit different animal. But the issue becomes in the auto workers union, the collective bargaining contract's up, and the auto manufacturers dug in and chose not to negotiate until the last minute, hoping that they could put the auto workers into a box and force them to negotiate from a position of weakness, not considering that their new president wouldn't do it. And I think that that looking at it from afar, they would probably yield on their demand of the 40% over 4 years in exchange for a better pension. And the pension is the real problem here, I think, is the pension aspect of this.
Bill King, you've talked about pensions before. No, so what's your take on this?
Well, first of all, I want to point out they struck all 3 companies, but only 1 plant at each of the 3 companies. So this is not going to have the economic impact of shutting down the entire auto industry. Look, unions today, 11% of workers are a member of a union, 11%. So I disagree with Charles about they've got a stranglehold on us. Now, in the public sector, there are some problems there. But polling shows that people are in favor of unions by 60 or 70%, which I think is quite interesting. And I think this is a result of the inflation we've been going through. When people see the purchasing power of their paycheck go down, they start hurting, and so they want something done, and what they want a raise.
All right, Joe, 30 seconds. You're a Democrat, and unions are a Democratic constituency.
For good reason. I mean, this is where the working people have their voice. This is where American workers have their voice. After World War II, the unions were ascendant. It allowed people to have middle-class wages, buy homes, send their kids, wherever they want to go in their future. But in the 70s, there were cuts made, and they pitched in and they did their part to keep the economy going. This is now the rooster coming home to roost. It's time for them to get a piece.
I'm blocking out 2 minutes for Gary Pollan to rebut in overtime.